Hi everybody. Sorry I can't be with you, but I wanted to be able to take some time and visit with you today, even if it is just on the big screen. If you look around, if you've been playing outside and maybe you've spent some time even riding bikes or running around or playing in the yard, you'll notice that even though it's kind of been cool and windy and some days have been rainy, still winter seems to have gone away. It's spring. Even if you look up in the mountains, you can see that the snow is becoming less and less. And maybe some of you also have done some work that is normally associated with spring. Have any of you done any planting? You know, maybe you've taken little seeds and put them in containers in your house and they're starting to grow and you're going to plant them outside. Or maybe pretty soon you're actually just going to go outside and work in the garden or flower beds. Well, what I want you to do right now is I want you to think about a seed. Think about how tiny and small a seed can become. Or really, how tiny and small a seed is. And if you look at that seed, does it look alive? Is it growing? Is it active? No, in many ways the seed is kind of dead. There's no life in it. But what God has done in His creation is He's made it so that when we take those seeds and we put them in the ground, and then the temperature's just right, and when there's just enough moisture, the seed begins to, well, the fancy term is germinate. And it starts to grow, and eventually the plant pokes its head out of the ground, and then the leaves open up, and it grows and grows and grows and becomes a big plant. Some plants, like in the garden, get so big, but even if you look outside at all the trees, even the tallest tree that exists, at one time it was just a little seed, just a little sprout coming out of the ground. Now, why are we talking about this? Well, in just a little bit, we're going to celebrate Easter. The Sunday after the Friday in which Jesus was crucified. You remember that He was put on the cross and He died for all our sins, the sins of the world. And there, after He had died, they took His body and they put it in a tomb or in the ground. And then on Sunday morning, He was alive again. And He came out of the ground. And just as He lived back then, He still lives to this very day. Now, not only is Jesus alive after He was dead, but Jesus promises that all who trust in Him, that their sins are forgiven, all who trust that He is the only true God, they too will rise from the dead. And not to be punished, but they too will rise from the dead to live forever. You see, that's what Jesus promises us. And so now what I want you to do this spring is every time you take a seed, and every time you see someone putting it in the ground, or maybe you're putting it in the ground, take a look at that seed and you can see that it really is just like as if it was dead. But then see what happens. It becomes alive again and grows, and in many cases becomes a beautiful plant. As you watch that miracle of spring and summer, I want you to remember that because of Jesus, even if you die, and when we all will die, and we're placed in the ground, we won't remain there forever. That because of Jesus, we will rise from the dead and live with Him forever. That's what the Apostle Paul told Christians back in Corinth. He says in the first letter to the Corinthians, chapter 15, verse 42, "That is how it will be when the dead are raised. When the body is sown, it decays. When it is raised, it cannot decay." Someday, most likely, unless Jesus comes before that time, everybody will eventually die and be put in the grave. But because of Jesus, we won't remain there. We will rise again and live with Him forever. This is what we celebrate at Easter. God be with you. I look forward to seeing you again when I get back. Bye-bye.